Okay. Of course, you can continue. Um, Sister Julia Rogers, now you know the first for sign on. If you dey get me, if you dey get me audio, will you please give me a thumbs up? Audio, video, is it good now? Can I have a thumbs up, please? Audio, video, any good? For those of you that have just signed on to the chat room, if you dey get me audio or video, will you give me a thumbs up, please? Audio, video, is it any good? Ah, okay, good, 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 good. Okay, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. That's the all signal that I was waiting for. Thank you so much to you all. And a warm welcome to those of you who don't rejoin back so quickly. And together we go try for see how far we go with this game. In the meantime, can treat you now to some Jimmy Cliff. Okay? Treat you now to some Jimmy Cliff, please. Thank you, Brother Emzo. Emzo Fofana, welcome to the program, my friend. Thank you. And while we play, you are going to use share button, share this video all around, invite friends and families, invite them over, please. Let's have a very good evening on the first day of we broadcast since the election results. Share the video, just click on share, please. Mr. Jallo, Dauda, hello, my brother. How are you? I'm glad for seeing you at the show. Yes, Mr. Dauda Jallo, I'm happy for seeing you at the show. While we play some meaningful Jimmy Cliff song, where we go talk about the lyrics later on into this program, I want to say welcome to those of you who don't join. But please, please, click your share button, invite friends and families. So together, we can make this show a very good show. Welcome to you all. Thank you. Click on your share button and share the video. Okay? In the meantime, let's listen to some Brother Jimmy Cliff while we warm up the stage. Welcome to you all. Thank you. Thanks, Brother Dauda. Just a warm welcome to everybody. We are about for go, but in the meantime, we encourage you now, please, please click your share button. Let's invite family and friends. Let's have a conversation as usual on this channel. In the meantime, Brother Jimmy Cliff once more for a particular reason. Thanks to all in the chat room. Thank you, Brother Julius Conte. Always welcome me, brother. Thank you. Some Jimmy Cliff, please. That is quite important. And to me, more important than the video. The video is not quite too important to me, or might be important for some other reasons, but it's what I'm saying. That's what's important. So anyway, since nobody complained, I must reasonably assume that my audio is good and the picture or the video will clear up a little bit later. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, as you can see, the topic, for those of you who visit the topic, is the APC and the SLPP, of course, for the last 2 weeks plus. This is what we've been talking about because there was a process. But now we know exactly where we are. Okay? So even when I put up the topic for the day, which I believe is catchy, and that's why I did it, of course, other people will say, but we already know waiting make other people then loss as opposed to make other people then win. But that was the exact reason. Because once we get to understand why the other people then lost, we can factor them just like an equation. If x is equal to y squared is equal to, and then that becomes a question mark or a blank. It's like fill it in. So that Naimeka creates the topic, so we'll talk around them. Not very much, because again, it bother to the fact say, there is a winner. And waiting we all get for do now for embrace that winner day. Sister Ayodele Sylvis, Sister Daphne Thomas, Serena Taylor all the way from New York. Welcome, my sister. Bernadette Abu, welcome, my dear sister, and welcome to you all. So we already know that there's a winner. One or two things I want to address very quickly is my last week production, I made a bold prediction. And I said that based on the reports, the analysis, the data, the samples that I am receiving, it appears as if, or it appears as if APC don't bag the election based on the sample, based on the data, based on what I've been hearing. But it turned out for me the other way. Okay? Then things they are not exact science. Yes, good evening, Sister Bernadette. They are not exact science. So that was my prediction, and my prediction was bold. Okay? But I don't really want to go into that because we know I not can defend myself. I don't need to. That's my prediction. The people that we get good analytical and verbal reasoning, no say now an issue of reasoning now we need to talk about. Yes, it can fail because not to exact science. Yes, my prediction not be right, and here we are. And this is what we want to talk about. But for those of you now who just joined the channel, there is a song where I play as the opener for this particular program. And there's a reason why I play them. Okay? Because I believe say the lyrics are very much applicable to today's program and waiting to happen. You see, ladies and gentlemen, earlier on I say, for them people that we are aware of the song who are as old as me, and I believe say most of the people in the channel are very much young, younger than I do. So I take pride in saying those that are older as me, they understand the lyrics of this song. But even as a boy, when I read this, I not be no say that today this could get relevance. So for those of you that we just joined, the opener for today's program, the song where we use, the intro where we use, now Jimmy Cliff, a song called House of Exile. They admonish una for go and have a look at what exactly the lyrics say. But I go just, stretch on one stanza, the first stanza quickly, because back nothing we want to talk about. It says, there's a day of feasting and there's a day of famine. It's almost biblical for those of you on the channel now who are biblical, spiritual. What did Jimmy Cliff sing then? Almost biblical, if not biblical, because these guys at the time, are supposed to say even now, are highly religious. So when I'm in the writing, I don't think they did and they inculcate into the writing. So there is a day of feasting and a day of famine. There is a day of sadness and a day of joy. And this is a mantra where I borrow into very, very strongly. It's obvious because it's also philosophical. It also makes a lot of sense that not every day is going to be a day of joy. there's definitely going to be a day of sadness. So now I make one of my famous Bible verses. I don't remember the exact one, but from the book of Ecclesiastes, we talk about there's a time to laugh and there's a time to cry. It's almost the same thing where Jimmy Cliff write this thing at the time. And I make a bearing at this particular time that we are talking about. So there's a day of feasting and there's a day of famine. There's a day of sadness and there is a day of joy. So if we look back not too long ago, you could see that even in the days of feasting, ladies and gentlemen, life not to just one lily play toy. Even in the day of feasting, if we go back not too long ago, you even can see now, because we get the benefit of hindsight, that life not to one lily play toy no more where you can play with. Or now you one going to play with the toy. Other people and sabi play with toys as well. So when your day of reckoning arrive, the day when you least expect, because all now you calculus, now you calculation, you feel say you were always protected. But now, for those of you who know fish belong na water, na they in your survival day. That when you pull fish come out inside water, those of us who don't see this in a physical sense, because fish na inside the water, they in your oxygen way they breathe day, so they survive day, they swim, and it's so beautiful for sea when the fish they swim inside water. But when you pull her inside the water, they, of course, you don't choke them to death, because the fish simply cannot exist outside of that water day. So there was a time where one side thought, that they were always well protected. Today, not too long ago, they almost look like fishes out of the water. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, they are beginning to wonder, what is the matter? I'm taking this directly from the song Jimmy Cliff. It's almost like a sermon where a pastor comes for preach. He take a stanza from somewhere, a paragraph from somewhere, or just an A4 paper, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, and he turn them to an entire sermon for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Today we decide for use the song of Jimmy Cliff. Now, one my friend, I just refer me to the song because I can always look for an opener. And this song is just befitting exactly what I wanted to talk about. And I repeat, there is a day of feasting and there's a day of farming. So when you feast, not forget say farming can come. When they make you roof not dry season, not forget say rain can come. There's a day of sadness and a day of joy. But you could see, or you supposed to see, that in the day of feasting, life not to one lily play toy no more, not to you one grain no more. Because if you continue to dwell in that, in your own rubbish, when that day arrive, as it has arrived for most of the people that we belong, you sort of detach, because you feel say, or you continue for things say, well, I was well protected. But that was then. And we are talking about now. In the now, those that I'm referring to now feel like a fish out of the water. I am not saying this in a derogative way. I'm not trying to disparage those of yesterday. I want to make this very, very clear. If anybody... So as I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, we said on this channel that to win, it's okay now, brother. Okay, it's okay now. I've got good angels that are looking after me, that every time something goes wrong or wants to go wrong, they correct me live whilst I'm on live. And I really, really appreciate this, okay? But we're talking about losers and winners. We first of all said on this channel that to win, somebody will have to lose. We made a bold prediction last week. It turned out to be the other way. But today we are here to celebrate the winner, which I haven't even spoken about other than talking about those that went wrong. But to come into the winner, although people had issues, not seriously, I mean, I'm sure it was just in a jovial form, but we already know why people won. Which is true. But to talk about the winner, we have to talk about the losers in some sense. And that's why I use the song of Jimmy Cliff, the lyrics of Jimmy Cliff, which are so pertinent, which are so significant, which are so applicable to the process that we speak of now. The day of feasting is the day of sadness. Some people thought that this day will never come. But now that this day is here, some people are beginning to feel like a fish out of the water. Remember, the fish can only survive in the water. That's where the oxygen that it breathes is. That's where you can find it. So it's out of the water. It's difficult now for it to survive. There was a time when you looked down on the folks. That's the people, you know, here that are beside you. There were times when, things were just that bad. And there was complacency. But I'm not playing, I keep saying here, I'm not playing the blame game. I'm not here to point fingers. I'm not here to exacerbate, a situation in which people are feeling down and vulnerable already. So let me switch gears for the moment, to the victors as opposed to the vanquished. The victors, as we know them here today, are the Sierra Leone People's Party, the SLPP, led by one-time retired brigadier Julius Maada Bio. Ladies and gentlemen, a big congratulations. I use this opportunity on this channel in behalf of all of my followers to say congratulations to you, retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio, for an elections well fought, for your determination to become what you wanted to be, for an objective that you set and you realize it. I admire your strength, your courage, and your indefatigability, Mr. Bio, retired brigadier. I mean it. I mean every word I say here. Because, the past was just yesterday. The future has arrived, and it is here. And this is what we have to buy into. This is what the reality is. Stop living in a delusional way. You don't have to be detached from the reality. This is what it is. By the way, just before I forget, my little green bottle has gone famous internationally. My little green bottle has gone famous internationally, before I forget. And it's all due to a shop in Peckham. But of course, you can find this anywhere in the United Kingdom. But where I buy mine from is from a shop in Peckham. I'm just using the platform to promote a sister. And that sister, Augusta, she owns a shop in Peckham, Shumat Road. I think it's called Swazi or something. So I'm using this opportunity to promote the sister. The reason why I'm mentioning this, I get calls in the background. There are people who admire my bottle. It's like, Jock, that bottle. Different sort of people. So I just decided to talk about it today. So my little green bottle is now historically famous. Thank you so much to you all. So I say congratulations to retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio of the SLPP. There is work to be done, and I believe that work should start soon, if it's not already started. But ladies and gentlemen, does it bother you that the process of the swearing in, I'm not insinuating anything other than saying what I saw. The process of swearing in, was it normal? If it were not normal, why wasn't it? There are things happening across the country now, and I hear that the new president, whom I recognize him as the new president, because I haven't heard anybody said anything else. But I'm just raising this issue of the swearing in. Was it normal? I've watched the vice president concede and pledge allegiance and spoke briefly, but in a very good way. Why the brigadier had to be sworn in a hurry, in a hotel, a retired brigadier? People need to understand that my business here is a talk show, and I'm here to provoke issues. There's nothing personal. There is nothing personal but to provoke issues. This is what I observe. This is what I'm bringing to you so that we can have the discussion around it. But I say, could you hear? I'm seeing you. It's the green that's in State House. And I've acknowledged that. And I respect that. I really, really, truly, from the depth of my heart, respect that. I see yesterday as yesterday. So I see the All People's Congress as yesterday. I see the SLPP as today and tomorrow. Mind you, tomorrow is yet to come, but that's how I see it. I pledge allegiance to the government of the Republic of Sierra Leone, which is now green, by the way, under the leadership of retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio. I need not say much more than I've said, you know, because unconditionally, unequivocally, I applaud, acknowledge, pledge my allegiance to the new leadership. That's what is first and foremost. And on this channel, what we have been saying is whoever wins will be the people's choice. Long before the declaration of the results, I'd already gone ahead, looking at the composition of the parliament. There is the Sierra Leonean people that have won. That's long before the decision on who will take the executive branch. I look at the composition of parliament, regardless of the former ruling party having the majority, but the composition, there are very strong characters in there. There are very strong figures in there. And what makes it interesting is the organs of government will now be fully functioning. You've got Dr. Kande Yumkela in there. Of course, he's got only 4 or 5 MPs, but that makes a major difference. This is historical. So the former ruling party has got the majority, but then in the executive, it's another party. Look how interesting this is, ladies and gentlemen. How the people of Sierra Leone cannot benefit from this process. How they cannot. And this is what we said, that the people of the Republic have prevailed in those elections. It's now a thing of the past. But Mr. President-elect, I call on you. I've got 4 principles for you. I read these principles out in one of my broadcasts. That's a few months ago, I believe in January, long before the elections. And those 4 principles are still applicable today, because when I read them out to the government then, it was because it was in the interest of the people. And today, as you are the one in power, I'm going to read those out to you because they are an essential element, an essential requirement, an essential ingredient in your success, Mr. President-elect. Okay, there's a question in the chat room. Somebody wants to know how many parliamentarians has the All People's Congress? How many parliamentarians has the All People's Congress? Because this question has been waning, and the answers have been kind of ambiguous. Some people say 71 or 72, and there's a report saying 66, okay? And with the flow of information on the social media, we have to be careful, the pronouncements that we make. We either get it from an authoritative source, or if we don't know it, just keep quiet, or you try to talk around it, but never direct. So I'm putting this to the chat room. If anyone out there knows the correct number of parliamentarians belonging to the All People's Congress, will you help the brother who really wants to know? The brother wants to know. So if you know, will you help, please? Okay? Will you help, please? Because I had 72 at my last count, and then I had a discussion with someone, and they said no, 66. But it seems like that person was sort of joking. But I'm so busy doing, things like since 7 o'clock again this morning, I've been up on my feet. There are people out there who knows it. I returned to my home at about 6:30 to 7 o'clock, an hour before going live. I had to prepare myself. So there's so much going on. Sister Gail Logan from the United States, welcome. Sister Isatu Shaban, as usual, welcome. For those of you who are just joining the show, just want to say a big welcome to you all. I was using this opportunity on behalf of all of you who are my followers, all of you who are my listeners, all of you who are my sympathizers, all of you with whom we share the same cause. I was using the opportunity to express thanks and appreciation to the process of runoff elections. Yes, Sister Isatu Shaban, hello, my sister, how are you? A big shout out and welcome to you on the show. Thank you so much for always being on the show. So like I was saying, a big congratulations to retired Brigadier Julius Mada Bio. And I'm just saying this over again because some people have just joined the program. We're using the opportunity to congratulate the new leadership in the country. Ep Sandy, welcome to the show. We're using the opportunity to welcome. We know there are a series of issues that were responsible for the demise, and the writing was on the wall of the All People's Congress. It was there. When I visited Freetown 2 years ago, I went to Freetown frequently, okay, in the last 2 or 3 years. But every time you're in the public space, to be honest, there were people who were disgruntled. And there was some slang at the latter part of 2017. There was some slang at the latter part of 2017. We've got a caller on the line. Let me see if I can get this caller on. Hello, caller. Yes, caller. What's your name and where you calling from, please? This is Alf. Mr. Psycho John Barry, I've been waiting for you. Okay, just hang on right there. So, audience, again, in my cap, I did say, join me and my guest. Of course, he could not physically come in the studio. He's just giving me a call now. And I hope this line is clear. This brother and myself, we've been having this to and fro discussion around the election process. Of course, he's on the other side that I will call the victors. And my prediction I made, I happen to be wrong. But all along, we've been having this discussion. And his analysis, trust me, man, they are good. Once again, he's here based on the topic, how and why, who won, who lost, and why. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've got Mr. Sekujo Barry on the line. If you are receiving him loud and clear, please let me know. If you are not, let me know so we don't have to waste time on this. Mr. Sekujo, you've got the floor, my brother. Go on, please.
Okay, thank you very much for welcoming me in your program, or at least hosting me. Can you hear me clearly?
I'm hearing you clearly. I'm just typing now to make sure that the audience is hearing you clearly. It does look like you're very clear, but then, of course, I have to make sure. So you keep going ahead. I'm just typing the question to the audience. Hopefully, they're receiving you loud and clear.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Like, I remember last week when we spoke, two of us, each of us made a prediction.
Yep.
And I'm happy today that at least I happen to be Victor, so I am happy about that. And but like what I was saying is like if you analyze the issue, like when you're doing your analysis, you got some information somewhere. I mean, like anyhow, like of course there must be a user or winner. But like I was basing my analysis on the reality of the ground and the experience I had before I went to before I applied. Let me say I think I just over 2 years ago, so I know what I left. So my prediction was based on what was on the ground, what I left. And I know since I left, we are not getting better. In terms of like how we refer to as the trade and border issue. So like what happened, like the APC failed to learn from experience from what happened in 2007 from the SLPP that defeated them in this election. They defeated SLPP in 2007, but they failed to take into account like the issues that made them won that election. So like it turned out to be very arrogant, and they were not listening to the voice or the cries of the people. Like what you were saying just now, I think you played the music. Like I didn't listen, but I listened the commentary that you are making. Like in democracy, the will of the people always prevails, and no matter what has gone to your head as a result of the power that people gave you, you should not be arrogant, and you must listen to the cries of the people. Failing to do that, definitely the people will express their feelings in the ballot box. That's what happened to the APC. And the other thing also, like what I learned from this is like people need to appreciate, like no matter what you say, criticism or at least critics. Most times critics will not lie to you. They will use the facts of the ground, and they might exaggerate it, but if you are a wise leader, you look into this matter. To have APC listen to critics, they will not have been where they are today. But they failed. Rather, what they did was to brand people. If you say the truth, if you say people are suffering, if you say people are going to bed with empty stomach, or like you say, okay, you even talk about the fact, the inflation, look like the exchange rate. The These are all as a result of bad policies. And of course, I know we are not exporting, but like I know we have problems with iron ore prices and other stuff. But I mean, what is the role of like policies, like government policies? What have they done to ameliorate the situation? But when you bring those things out, instead of looking at them, you set their guys, they have their machinery like to attack you, all sorts of things. But the people, mind you, the least people in the villages, they will say, okay, I mean, we are crying, nobody is listening, but at the end of the day, we'll go there and vote against them. So, for example, the toll road, like we have austerity in place as a result of, I would say, bad policies and mismanagement of state resources. And at the same time, you go to like install, you think, okay, this time needs to make the road from Freetown to Manchester. I mean, you just need how many kilometers, and they give you like alternative roads for the people, and they impose that toll road on the people. And they think the people are happy. But when the people cry, they fail to pay attention. But instead, they are calling on people or critics to pay attention. And I can still remember what I used to say my ABC friend, that you guys are calling people, yes, calling us to pay attention, but failing to pay attention at the same time. So that is it. Now, when they are defeated, now they are now finding a scapegoat. And they found, for example, the former president of Ghana and the British High Commissioner, I think, guys, Warrington, something like that. Yeah. And they blame these guys, saying they are against the APC, they are responsible. You know, they just say these people are responsible for the defeat of APC. But mind you, these guys are not voters in Sierra Leone, and also they make it extremely well. Even though there were flaws, granted that, I mean, but however, we cannot take it away from fact that he did his best. He looked at almost every complaint before like the publication of any result. So yes, so that is it. I mean, let me just allow you now to ask any question so that I'm expecting it to be a like dialogue like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we said, you know, there are victors now. I believe my thing's too loud. Um, yeah, Mr. Athos is saying good evening and good evening to everyone. Just like you're saying, my brother Monday Esegbu, welcome to the program, my brother. Emma Cooper, and the others, I want to say briefly, a good welcome. Yeah, Mr. Dauda Jallo, thanks for saying that the audio coming from the guest is now better. Thank you very much. But for those of you who are just joining the program now, just a recap, we will be shifting away from this topic in our next broadcast. We just want you to know this. But of course, we are going to be looking critically at the new government in Sierra Leone, headed by one-time retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio. But in the meantime, we want to use this platform to congratulate him on an election victory, on him becoming the new head of state or president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. We say here on this channel, the retired brigadier, we appreciate, we applaud, we admire your strength, okay, your courage, and your indefatigability. We now look forward to you turning a new page, accepting and going along with policies that were favorable for the Sierra Leonean people, and those that were not, to be questioned. Of course, you reserve the right to do such. But at the end of this program, we are saying that we are going to be having 4 principles which we spoke of in a broadcast in January. We're also admonishing people to be careful in terms of drawing conclusion. Last week, I made a bold prediction like my guest just spoke of, and that prediction turned out to be the other way. But of course, it was based on the analysis available then. It's not an exact science. I also talk about my little green bottle, which has become really famous internationally. I'm receiving calls. It's like, that your bottle, that bottle. But that's just the bottle, you know, here to keep me going. Thank God to Sister Augusta from Peckham, Shumat Road. Don't forget to visit. But today we are talking on something very serious. We put the topic there. There were 1 or 2 people that had questions about it, but I'm sure it was in a jovial way. We already know why they lost. Why would you want to talk about it? But in order for us to talk about the victors, we have to talk about the vanquished. And you have to put like a catchy, you know, topic out there. This is what we did. And what happened as we've got our guest here waiting, we try to use the song of Jimmy Cliff. For those of you on this channel who are as old as I do, will understand the song and the lyrics. For those of you who are far much more younger, you will need to visit, because the lyrics of this song, little did I know that 40 years on, it will be so relevant of the topic today that I, Prince Emil Kroma, stand to be broadcasting to you. And the lyrics of the song says, it's the house of exile, by the way. It goes like, there's a day of feasting and a day of famine. Bearing in mind that those that wrote good songs, stay on the line, Alpha Joe, I'll come back to you. I'm just trying to recap. Those that wrote good songs a long time ago were biblically inclined. So for those people that are biblically inclined, they can see this, that even a paragraph or just an A4 paper of lyrics can turn out to be a sermon in a church for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on how much the pastor wants to stretch it. So the house of exile, very critical to today's context that we are talking about, which is there's a day of feasting and a day of famine. There's a day of sadness and a day of joy. If you visit my page on YouTube and others, you will see that this is my mantra. This is my profile saying. A day of sadness and a day of joy, and talking about the book of Ecclesiastes. You could see that in the day of feasting, some did not see this, but in the day of feasting, you should have realized that life is not just a little play toy. Should have realized that life is not just a little play toy. That life is not only for you, it's also for others. Despite what you say, people had to feel this in their pockets, and people did not feel this richness, this development in terms of infrastructure that you talked about, in their pockets, and that had a difference. So when your day of reckoning arrived, the day that you least expected, the day came that you thought you were always well protected, you are lost. You feel like a fish out of the water. A fish can only survive in the water because the oxygen that the fish breathes can only be found in the water. For those of you who have seen a live fish taken off or snuffed off the water, know exactly what I'm talking about, how that fish struggles, here with life, breathing, because you see the fish losing its breath, and that's life going away. So you begin to feel like a fish out of the water. And then you're beginning to wonder why. What is the matter? But you said that this will not happen. You didn't see this coming. How naive, how arrogant. But it is here. You fail to take heed. You fail to hear the warning. You look down on the folks that were beside you. And today here we are. I'm not using this as a finger of accusation at those that are in a vulnerable position now. I need to make this clear. I'm not saying this because I want to curry favor from the new sheriffs in town. No, I've got a profession. I'm trained. I'm educated. I'm a pro graduate. So I stand very strong from the position I speak. All I do is I speak in the interest of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, today we've got our guest, Mr. Sekujo Barry, and he's here to tell us. And Mr. Sekujo, this question goes to you. Having made the analysis of what happened then, we want to talk about the now because we've got a new sheriffs in town. This is our coin. This is my own phrase, and this is a fact. Okay? We've got retired brigadier back in action. There was also a broadcast that I did a couple of months ago in which I asked, did the retired brigadier had unfinished business? And I said this owing to the fact that even though insults were thrown at him, not a day did he respond back. This man had to be strategic, and I said it. This man had an objective, and it seems like he's always on the winning side. He was on the side that overthrew the inept Momo government. He was on the side that overthrew Captain Strasser. As he said, Captain Strasser was becoming uncomfortable with the arrangements that they had to turn the country into democracy. He turned the country over to democracy, the process that we enjoy today, just after 3 months in power, which most would have found uncomfortable to do, but he did. And the father of democracy, as he was largely referred to, which was not agreed by all, could still be, his title. But then we suspect that there was unfinished business. Where are you now that the retired brigadier is back in power? Sekujo, are you there?
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. And okay, let me just leave this sheriff in town, the new sheriff, they reminded me of, when I was talking about this arrogance, I will call names because what I'm saying here is fact, what happened in Sierra Leone. And I can still remember Karamokaba, the resident, I think the resident minister is. He went to Connaught, he insulted, he threatened the people. Now I am the new sheriff in town. Yep. Anyone who I see outside to protesting. I think people wanted to protest about some mining arrangements in Connaught.
Okay.
Some people, yeah. So you are using that term, new sheriff in town. So I wonder where the sheriff is at the moment. Okay. So going down to business, you said one thing which is very important. Like you said, a lot of mobs were thrown at that brigadier, but response. What I admire, at him, is this. He seems to be a man who is not easily distracted.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. When a country or a nation lack focused leadership and critical masses, at the end of the day, that country is bound to fail. But you can see some man like Richard Brigidi and Julius Madabe.
Yeah.
In 2012, when he like made his intention known and he vying for the position of his presidency,
Yeah.
the APC government like they were ratting, paid off people like to just like assassinate the character of this fine gentleman.
Yeah.
Like okay, like associating him with okay the killings that happened during MPRC, that extra the term is as extrajudicial killing.
Yeah.
And but even though Strasser, Strasser went to it and said no, these people would have tried,
Yeah.
and they would have found guilty and executed. But like the APC ignored all the facts. They tried to use like certain diabolic means like to just destroy the character of this young man. Well, you hardly like hear him respond to those like allegations or those unfounded allegations. Yeah, okay, now like you see even recently Samura Kamara accusing him like saying okay he stole over $18 million or so, and like okay he will respond when you like you go like he's a man who is focused and you know what I've noticed in him recently, like he hardly laughs. Like he's just focused. And like what you said, like it's like he knows like there is something which is need to be done in the country. And definitely these like issues in Sierra Leone are very serious. So there's nothing like I can't fake any smile here. Let me just focus on the objective and go down to business. I'm just hoping and praying that this succeeds and like he will be strong and continue to be strong to resist any force that will want to bring him down. That's what I'm praying for. Okay. And also like there are a lot of things to be done in Sierra Leone, and one main thing that is disturbing our society is indiscipline. People are not disciplined, and thank God, like he was stressing about restoring discipline in society, and we had him talking about people going to work late, and he pointed out that I mean the time like to be in office should be 8:30, and that people must stick by that. And I'm hoping and praying that he stick to that and they enforce like those things, because those things are let me say are part of the things that are responsible for the backwardness of our country, because people are not treating their work with seriousness and all this stuff.
Okay.
And,
okay, there's a quick question for you. Of course, I've got a few questions. We will try to end this broadcast at about in 30 minutes time, because I didn't intend for this broadcast to be really long. I wanted to flow into a sector in which I believe I've got strength and depth, which is what part of the reasons why this channel was formed, which is geopolitics. But then every time, there's a variation or change in our system, and we have to way back into that. And I'm happy to really get you back here on this channel. But I've got a few questions for you before we close today, which is one. First of all, there was someone asking in the chat room about the number of parliamentarians that the APC has in the new parliament. Would you know the answer, please?
Well, the last time, like, I knew about 68 states, and a constituency in Kwenedugu, Falaba, is like under investigation because there were allegations of overvoting, and I think NEC is yet to resolve that. But like as far as I'm aware, like or I can say is about 68 what I know about anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. But at least the 68 is confirmed, and the one seat for sure is like under investigation. NEC is yet to resolve the issue.
Okay, brother Dauda, I don't know whether that answers your question. At least Brother Sekujo has confirmed it that 68 parliamentarians belonging to the All People's Congress is confirmed, but there is a questionable one in Falaba, so that is yet to come.
So if the APC wins that one,
yeah,
they'll get 69.
Yeah, so there's a questionable one in Falaba, which if they do win, will bring the total number to 69. But on record, when he last checked, it is 68 parliamentarians has the APC. So I hope that answers that question. My next question,
So
go on, please. Go on. No, go on.
So if the seats are more than that, for example, if they are 70,
yeah,
if they resolve that one and APC happens to win, then it will go to 71.
71. Okay. Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, providing, like, let me say they have 70, because I heard you earlier.
Yeah.
But what I know about what I can say, and like the seats that we have verified is 58.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. The fact that the retired brigadier was sworn in a ceremony which I'm beginning to think was not normal. It didn't look normal. It didn't have a semblance of normalcy around it. If you first of all agree that it does not have or did not have a sense of normalcy around it, would you want to weigh on why that was the issue, or is that normally how head of states or presidents are sworn in?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. Because we've seen, for example, this is not straight what happened. And like, okay, they acted within the Constitution of Sierra Leone. Because the Constitution says that the president should be sworn in as soon as the final result is announced. So I think that one is within the law. So I think we're talking about the location where the president was sworn in. Well, some people were saying, like, okay, the State House did not prepare, like, for the sworn in, like, in terms of making available the State House where the sworn in was supposed to take place. Some people were saying, like, there was no, like, preparation for that at State House. That's why they did at the hotel there. Yeah, but like, yeah, it's somehow strange. But like again, people like you know what was like, okay, the surrounding, the circumstances. Like, okay, people were afraid of panic, and even honestly, even the opposition, like, they were more or less, okay, the opposition by then, which was the SLPP, they were more or less, well, they knew that they won. Like, the question was, like, whether the APC would accept, by virtue of all the attempts, like, to strike the will of the people. So, like, maybe that was the other reason why it was held there. You know, they felt okay, more secure in that place. And thank God the Chief Justice went there. So I think all that happened, like, happened between the law, and there's nothing. The only strange thing is it happened outside State House, but that could be attributed to because if President Kuruma had, like, okay, allowed his guys to prepare that venue to say, okay, now no matter what, whether we win or not, this person should be sworn in at State House. They prepared the state, everything. But at the time when the result was announced, I don't think State House like had prepared anything for any story at State House.
Okay. Thanks for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to my guest, Mr. Sekou Jombari. He's a product of Rabe College. He is a journalist, by the way, and he reports for a newspaper called Prestige. Ladies and gentlemen,
Premier News.
Premier News, sorry, I got it wrong. Premier News, ladies and gentlemen. He reports for Premier News, and he's a resident of the United Kingdom. Mr. Sekou Jombari, Do you think that the newly elected president is now fully in control of the length and breadth of the country? Because I asked this question because of what is reminiscent of post-election violence, if you like. Do you think that he is in control?
Well, to a certain extent, but now, like, man, this is like what I was telling some of my friends, my APC friends, because now they are bent on now using this violence and like, okay, attribute it to tribalism and things. So the violence is as a result of what the very APC embarked on, because like we can see like when the man of you like got a higher percentage during the first round, the APC like telling people, their presidential spokesman went on radio and started talking about tribalism. The SLPP, they voted along tribal lines. Their tribal, like the attribution of tribalism came into play. And they did use that to campaign to their people and even using the slogan back to the root or something like that. So we see despite that people were resolute because of the issues they voted against them. But what happened now as a result? We saw this violence. To say that the president, whether he has total control of the country, so when during that period, I would not say he had total control at that time when the violence happened. Because imagine if someone is just running today, and let me say violence happened today, you can't say that person has total control at the moment. Because you have to take into account, okay, this person has just running. And even the state affairs, let me say at that time, like the state affairs were not under his total control at that time. Even okay now state house or other areas like he could like for example like and he did that. He went up there and during several interviews and condemned it and asked people to stop. So I think now.
Okay, I think I've lost the brother. I've lost him. I've lost the brother, ladies and gentlemen. Sister Edith Soapor, welcome. Khadija to Saidu Bar, welcome. Helen Bete, welcome. Sister Rosalind Bangura, welcome. I have lost the brother, so I will just try and see whether I can get a song going before I bring him back. Hopefully, he will call again because he was making quite an important point. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Den, and now I'm your host and presenter, and I'm Prince Chroma. Today we are talking on why and how they lost and how and why they won. I was having a guest who I've just lost. His name is Brother Sekujo Barry. I've just lost him. Hopefully he'll be able to come back online. I'm not sure whether this is his fault. Okay, probably he's still there. I think I'm having an issue with transmission now. But Sekujo, if you're hearing me, stay on the line, please. But Sekujo, if you're hearing me, please stay on the line. Right. Please stay on the line, okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just trying to get back into full transmission. I don't think I've lost anything as yet. I don't think so. I don't think so, really. I'm just trying to make some major connections again. But Sekujo, are you there? Okay, I think I've lost him. But Brother Sekujo, if you are hearing me, please call back because we need to finish the conversation. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, let's get some song from Then. Very essential. System Dread. Brother Sekujo, if you are still there, please don't hesitate to give me a call back because we need to finish this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you just joining the program, today we are talking about why and how they lost, why and how they won. Okay, the brother is back. Yes, Brother Sekujo. Yes, you're welcome to the program again. Sorry about that misconnection, but you can just continue to flow from where you were. Ladies and gentlemen, he is back. The floor is yours. Yes, not to cut you off, a sister has just buttressed your point and basically answered my question from video footage that Sister Aisatu saw today. The APC went to visit a high power delegation, went to see the president elect. So, flow on, please. Okay. Yes, I saw that footage. Yes, that's a good sign. Yes, you're live. Okay, okay.
area we
O-
need to work on.
Okay,
Work on.
Mr. Barry. Yeah, okay. That's the question I was going to ask at some point, but you've just said it. It's an area to work on because I was going to ask whether there is a possibility of us avoiding like post-election violence on this level. Because what this tends to do is it creates a kind of vicious cycle because that's exactly what you're saying. Back then, it happened. Now, again, when
Exactly.
power has
And
switched hands, it's happening again, and there is no foolproof. There is no case that says that it will not happen again in 5, 10,
of
15
course,
years' time.
of course.
This is why we need to learn from this.
It starts with even my friends. Some of them have read their messages, social media. They know that we are documenting everything in our
Exactly.
that you
This is
guys
my point.
yeah, our own time to come. But like what I told them, what we gonna do, like what I'm like anyone from the SLPP, that what I'm advising them is try like our institutions need to be different. We need
Okay,
to have our
Mr. Barry, I will need to stop you there because I got a few questions from you. I mean, for you, I like the path that you're going. And me and you off camera, we're going to talk about this, how we can contribute to help this vicious cycle happening. If we have to form a group, a pressure group, whatever, we're going to have to do it because this thing just needs to stop. Not every time that there's a change of power, that people will have to suffer, that bridges are burned, houses are
yeah,
burnt,
no,
people have to lose their lives, security forces have to be attacked. This is not called for. This is uncivilized, this is barbaric, and it doesn't portray a good figure for those of us who call ourselves Sierra Leoneans. So we'll have to find a way forward. But I've got a few questions for you because I want to end this program at about 8 to 10 minutes time.
okay,
The electorate of the new president spoke largely from a corner of the southeast, and I repeat, largely from a corner of the southeast. Do you think that the cabinet of the president is going to be reflective of the length and breadth of the country, or is it going to be heavily influenced by the southeast?
okay. I don't think it will be dominated by even though as you know that right place of the go we are hello.
Yes, you're there, you're live.
Yeah, yeah, and I still know we are like in this part of the world. For example, like okay, systems we have, winnership all is very hard. But however, in media, for example, like you appoint people that trust and that they can believe that believe in your aims and objectives and are ready to achieve your goals. You appoint those people. What I believe is like we're gonna see like a reflective, like the government is going to represent every corner in the country. Because mind you, people are just saying, okay, yeah, they got bulk votes from the southeast. But mind you, the north, like Calabar and Kwenedu, they play a great role. And even western area and the northwest, they also play a very great role. So I don't think the president would ignore those people.
So,
So
so,
he will not ignore them.
okay, okay, thanks
Like
for that.
even like saying people say that the people voted alongside the line. I disagree with that. What
Yeah,
I
okay,
believe is
okay,
that the
okay,
government
Mr.
went for
Barry,
the truth. Yes.
Mr. Barry. Of course, the analysis that you've provided, it just debunks the fact that people say that the vote was along tribal line. But because we don't have time, I just need to understand a quick factor into the votes for the SLPP coming from the north, like Falaba and Koinadugu, which I thought were heavily influenced by the APC. Would you know, and if you know, what really happened?
The point is, like honestly, like those people in Palestine, like certain issues happen, but like the bottom line of all, to be candid, my brother, like people are talking about that that is universal in the country. It is all over the country. So it depends on whether you think, okay, now despite my thought
So in the end, the roads, the infrastructure boom, which the APC tried to capitalize on, had less of an impact or meant less to the people. That wealth did not trickle down to them in terms of filling it in their pocket, as opposed to roads that they were talking about and other infrastructures.
Yeah, yeah. So that is the infrastructure which is there. I'm not saying it is not there, but like the APC fails to take into account bread, what we call bread and butter, like what you are saying, the development they are talking about needs to be reflected. Needs to reflect, as you said, the pocket of people. When you are talking about development and exchange rate like killing and the bag of rice is like you don't even understand how it's over 200 and something how it's doing. And some people are still they can't afford 100,000.
Okay, okay.
It's like
So
all those things. So you bragging about road and those people are there hungry. Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting you to feed like everyone because people are still hungry. You expect us to buy rice and get in houses. No, but you create this platform, constitute environment people operate like constitute. So but like they fail to do that. They fail to do that. That's why people have taught them lesson. I hope you learn.
all right. I still got two or three questions for you. A brother has just posed a question in the chat room. And Brother Sheku Ture, I appreciate your question. And the question is quite critical. It's a good one. My prediction is not based on sentiments, my brother. And I'm saying this, I'm saying it from deep inside. It's based on a sense of reasoning. You just joining the channel now. I've addressed it earlier on because I suspect that this was going to come up and I'm happy to talk about it. Yes, it's not based on sentiment. I repeat, not on sentiment. It's rather based on reasoning, on the information that I had at the time, okay? The data that I had at the time. I hate to mention this, that Tony Blair took this country to war. What we now know with the benefit of hindsight on a pack of lies. What we now hear is the intelligence was faulty. So I was acting on intelligence. What you need to do, Brother Sheku, is to visit other videos of mine that goes back months before the elections and after the elections. And that maybe will help to buttress the points that I'm trying to make. But finally, it's not on sentiment, my brother. It was the fact that I thought was available at the time. That's what I went on to make the bold prediction. Thank you anyway for your question. Brother Sekujo, back to you. Now, you know, yeah, that retired brigadier is in power. And we've seen that there's been a bitter election campaign between the two sides. In other words, what we call in our own language, draw, binde, than a fact up to a runoff. Do you think that this administration of retired brigadier go on for hold certain people and responsible or accountable? I think accountable is the word. Do you think that will happen, or they will intimate anything of that nature, which other people go on call witch hunt? Do you foresee anything of that nature in this early stage? Let's do some bold predictions. Let's work on the maths.
Okay, now like well it depends. Like you can't say 100% because I don't want to use the word witch hunt because if you say witch hunt, it's like you will like try to hold some people like accountable based on false like stuff.
Again, for the benefit of the listeners, I just use the word witch hunt because if it comes to what I was just developing, that's what definitely some people are going to be saying. And thanks for breaking it down. Go on, my brother.
Yeah, so like I will not say witch hunt. I think it's supposed to be in every like now I think okay they've already set up a committee like keep stock of everything that is like left or like or yeah like that. But we started hearing about some people running away with government. So I don't think, for example, if someone attempted to do that, that is caught.
no, Mr. Barry. That is different from what I'm saying. Of course, you are absolutely right.
I'm not saying I'm just saying now the analysis. Should that happen? I know the APC will always say the picture, but like in reality, like it's not. So now we will not be surprised if some people are prosecuted for corruption. We should not be surprised because my this leader, as I said, is a focused leader and is based on fighting corruption and pushing things straight. So anyone found like wanting and like if anyone is involved with gross misconduct, I underline the word gross misconduct, they might overlook certain things because of like for the sake of national cohesion and other stuff. But like some people must face their actions. And if that happens, like we're expecting that to happen anyway, but not in large scale. I don't think it will be like that large scale. I think like what is made my friend those who are greatest responsibility. Those who are deeply involved in corruption, and I think those people should be prosecuted.
Okay, we are fastly running out of time. Let's see if I'm able for pack one or two quick questions just before we come to the end. We don't run about 3 minutes over the anticipated time. But do you think retired brigadier will make a good president?
Of course, why not? Like this is the guy for me. I've prophesied. It's been like okay, like I think he's gonna be the best leader or one of the best leaders we've ever had because like I believe in him and I saw some qualities that he seems to be a focused leader. If he doesn't change path that he's on now, he's going to be a very good leader. Because I mean, Sierra Leone, we just need someone who like who can instill discipline in people, and everything will just fall by themselves and we see progress.
You,
Because to involve in corruption are just part of like part of because the laws are there. Let the laws just be allowed to operate. Like this is what I was saying. If, for example, the institutions are allowed like to operate independently without interference, I think things will go on smoothly and the Sierra Leoneans will benefit.
and finally, the things the way you say you believe in retired brigadier, some of the things, of course, there might be a host of things, but just quick one, why you think say this president will succeed because you said because you believe in him and you almost begin to develop reasons why. You want to share that with the audience just quickly, just one or two strong key points why you think say the brigadier go succeed and any advice, one final advice, please.
Okay, one, I believe that the brigadier, your father, belongs to you. That is one. Two, then I believe focus leader because that's what that focus leader. If you don't know what you want for your camp, you can't achieve much. So what I believe this guy is focused and that bottom line is a disciplined man. And I believe with discipline everything fall in place. Those are the qualities, some of the qualities.
Okay, Mr. Sekujo, Barry, ladies and gentlemen, I just want for to understand, say, Mr. Sekujo has been my sparring partner throughout this election process. A very interesting brother. He's a product of Furabe College. He's a journalist by profession, and he reports for is it the Prestige or Premier News?
Premier News and he's a final year law student at Birmingham University.
He's also a law student at Birmingham University and reports for the Premier News, and he's been my sparring partner. I may say I get 4 principles, here for refer to the president-elect of the Republic, and to everybody else. Whatever I say here, let me make this clear, absolutely clear. It's not out of sentiment. I can decide for take the high road on one side, and I can make the arguments well. But this is based on reasoning, and it's not an exact science per se, so we should understand this. But that was a good question posed, here by Sure, 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 sure.
there's nothing wrong for you to make
Of
prediction
course, I know.
and that prediction like something fail. It doesn't mean you did it out of sense. Like what you said, you acted and you predicted based on the information that was available to you at that time. There's nothing wrong. Even the Western media, like we do BBC or CNN, they can make prediction. And people look what happened with Donald Trump. You understand?
Oh,
Yeah, some media, let me see the whole world said, okay, Hillary Clinton was going to win, but she didn't.
okay, yes, Mr. Barry, and I say thank you very much. We've actually run out of time. I've been want to talk about the four principles where I've been talking say in the at the end of the show. I go direct them at the new leadership, maybe the Pago Yeri, maybe in follower then go Yeri, but I hope say Yeri because this now advice will be also the APC. And when I talk in the interest of Sierra Leoneans first and above everything else is Sierra Leone force. Na mi mantra dandi. That's what I believe in. My politics is not politics of mix up, box up. It's a politics, yeah, we're very liberal. It's about policy. I speak to you as a policy person. Okay? So the person will out the right policy. That's what I will go along as long as it benefit my country. So, Mr. President elect, these are the four principles that I want attribute to that I want send over to you for consideration, sir. Very, very important. The first and foremost principle from me is that you for make sure that you empower Sierra Leoneans economically. This is critical, sir. And I know say you don't watch this for a long, long time because 20 years on the sidelines mean when you finally take the mantle. Now that make up one agree with the brother. 20 years on the sidelines and you get your objective and you set them up. And like I say, everything where you put your hand by, it seems like say, you get the King Midas touch. It happen. So you plan a coup along with your friend, it work. You plan a coup against your friend, it work. You hand over power. You sit down for over 20 years. I not say you're not going to do nothing, of course. I not say you go Bradford University and you do your PhD. Of course, these are something, and I know some other one or two things because I've been doing my research very well. So I know say all of this is planned. So, sir, principle number one, empower Sierra Leoneans economically, sir. Principle number two, limit the control of wealth and resources and the landmass from being damaged by foreign exploitation. A two-pass mark, foreign exploitation, where we people and they benefit less. I said this months ago, and I say I'm again to you. Number three, principle number three, sir, empower the people economically so that they will be in a position for buy and acquire the land and resources so that this will help for prevent them foreigner them from acquiring or having automatic access to land and resources. Now, who's respect? Goodbye.